Respected elders, educationists, dear teachers, and dear students. In this class, we are going to see five couplets under the head not eating meat, that is, restraining from meat. Five couplets under the chapter 26. It is not eating meat. Very good, five couplets. Why man should not eat meat by killing other animals. That is, Allan here says we should not kill other animals and eat their flesh as food. It is not virtue. It is not mercy, according to you. So, okay, come, let us see what he actually says. Tirukural with a new dimension. Five couplets from 251 to 255. Video 102. Dated 13/5/2024. Virtue, chapter 26. Ascetic virtue. Renunciation of flesh, that is, not eating meat, refraining from meat. Chapter 251. How can mercy live in a man's heart who eats the flesh of another living being's son's heart? It is, how can mercy live in a man's heart who eats the flesh of another living being, sans heart? What is the message? Here, one says it is, if a man kills, kills another animal and eats its flesh as food, how mercy can live in his heart? If a man kills and eats its flesh, how mercy can live in his hearts? This is the question. How mercy can live in a man's heart who eats the flesh of another living being, who eats the flesh of another living being's son's heart? It is, if a man kills another being, living being, and eats its flesh, then mercy cannot live in his heart. This is the question. If a man eats the flesh, that is the meat of another animal, mercy would not live in his heart. Yes. If a man eats eats the meat of another animal, mercy would not live in his heart. Killing living beings and eating their flesh is not virtue. Killing living beings and eating their flesh is not virtue. This is the content. Content. What is the core? What is the central idea? Treating all living things as ourselves is virtue. Treating all living beings as ourselves is virtue. Explanation. Grace will not live in the heart of a man who kills other living beings and takes their flesh as food for the growth of his own flesh. It is killing living beings and taking their flesh as food is not virtue. Second couplet. How can mercy live in a man's heart who eats the flesh of another living being sans heart? That is, if a man kills other animals and eat their flesh as food, mercy could not live in him. This is that. If a man kills other animals for the growth of and take its flesh for the growth of his own body, then mercy would not live in his heart. This is the message. How can mercy live in a man's heart who eats the flesh of another living being sans heart? That is, if a man kills another animal and eat its flesh, then mercy would not live in his heart. 252. He who doesn't guard his well will lose it. He who eats flesh of other beings will lose mercy. He who doesn't guard his well will lose it. He who doesn't guard his well will lose it. He who eats flesh of other beings will lose mercy. What is the message? That is, if a man does not love his well and does not properly protect it, he would lose his wealth. Like that, if a man kills another animal and eats its flesh, then mercy will not stay with him. If a man does not love his wealth and protect it carefully, wealth would not stay with him. Like that, if a man kills another animal and eats its flesh, then mercy would not stay with him. Content. Only merciless people take the meats of other animals as food. Only merciless people takes the meats of other animals as food. Core. This is the content. What is the core? Merciful people won't take meat. Merciful people won't take meat. Explanation. If a man, if a man does not safeguard his wealth rightly, he will lose his wealth and become poor. Such as if a man eats the flesh of another living beings, if a man eats the flesh of another living beings, mercy will not live in his heart. That is, meat eaters would be taken as merciless people. Again, if a man does not safeguard his wealth rightly, he will lose his wealth and become poor. Like that, if a man eats the flesh of other animal living beings, mercy will not live in his heart. That is, Meat eaters would be taken as merciless people. Second couplet. He who doesn't guard his wealth will lose it. If a man does not properly protect his wealth, it will not stay with him. Likewise, if a man eats the flesh of another animal, mercy will not stay with him. Chapter 253. Grace doesn't live in him who murderous weapon bears. Likewise, kindness doesn't live in him who flesh eats. Grace doesn't live in him who murderous weapon bears. Likewise, kindness doesn't live in him who flesh eats. What is the message? That is, if a man is always carrying hunting weapons, grace will not stay with him. If a man is always carrying hunting weapons, mercy will not stay with him. Grace will not stay with him. Like that, mercy will not stay with a man who is in the habit of eating meat, who is in the habit of enjoying meat. That's all. That is the message. That is outward message is if a man is always having murderers, always carrying murderous like hunting weapons to hunt animals, mercy won't stay with him. Likewise, mercy won't stay with a man who enjoys eating meat, who enjoys eating meat. Content. People sense mercy would love consuming meat. People sense mercy would love consuming meat. That is, people who do not love mercy would love eating meat, consuming meat. Whole. People of kindness would never think of meat. People of kindness would never think of meat. Explanation. Mercy won't live in the heart of the man who is always bearing murderous weapon. Like that, kindness wouldn't live in the heart of the man who enjoys the taste of flesh. Kindness won't live in the heart of the man who enjoys the taste of flesh. That is, the hearts of the man with murderous weapon and fond of meat won't love kindness. That is, the hearts of men with murderous weapons and fond of meat won't, wouldn't love kindness, would not love kindness. Again, grace doesn't live in him who murders weapons first. That is, mercy does not live in the heart of the man who is always carrying, hunting weapons. Like that, kindness doesn't live in him who first eats. That is, like that, mercy does not live in the heart of the man who loves eating meat, who eats meat or loves eating meats? Couplet 254. What is grace is not to kill. What is not grace is to kill. To eat the flesh of the killed one is the sin of ill. That is 3 points. One stresses here. That is, what is grace is not killing. What is not grace is killing. To eat the flesh of the killed one is the sin of ill. 3 points. That is, what is grace? Grace is not killing. Killing is not grace. Grace is not killing. Killing is not grace. Eating the meat of the killed one is the greatest sin. These are the three. These are the 3 points. So one says here. Uh, Not killing is grace. Killing is not grace. Eating the meat of the killed one is the sin. Content. Not killing and not eating meat are virtue. Not killing and not eating meat are virtue. Core. Killing and eating meat are vice. Not killing and not eating meat are virtue. Killing and eating meat are vice. There is killing animals, and eating meat are vice. Explanation. Mercy is not killing. Unkindness is killing. Eating the meat of the killed one is a sin. That is, mercy is not killing. Unkindness is killing. Eating the meat of the killed one is a sin. That is, not killing is virtue. Killing is vice. And eating meat is a sin. Okay? Killing is, not killing is grace. Killing is vice. And eating meat is a sin. Again, what is grace is not to kill. What is not grace is to kill. To eat the flesh, to eat the flesh of the killed one is the sin of evil. Yes. Not killing is grace. Killing is not grace. Eating the flesh of the killed one is sin. Is yes sin. Couplet 255. Not to eat meat is the abode of life. No to eat meat is the abode of life. If you eat meat, hell would swallow you and won't let you out. If you eat meat, hell would swallow you and won't let you out. See, what is the message? That is, not to eat meat is the abode of life. These, these syllables, these words says that is, as there are people not eating meat, as there are people not eating meat in the world, trillions of living beings are living on the earth. As there are trillions of people not eating meat, trillion of living beings are living on the earth. If you eat meat, hell would swallow you and won't let you out. If a man eats meat, hell would swallow him and won't let him out. You think this? I mean, this is what World One feels. World One feels as there are millions and millions of people not eating meat. I mean, billions of living beings are living on the earth. And again, he says, Krishna says, if you eat meat, the hell would swallow you and won't open its mouth and won't open its mouth to let you out. So don't eat it. He said, don't eat meat. He says, Krishna says, continued. Not eating meat would strengthen the strength of living things. Not eating, not eating meat would strengthen the strength of living things and also give man healthy physique. That is, what is the content? That is what the outward meaning of the couplet. Not eating meat would strengthen the strength of living things on the earth. And also it would give strength. And also it would give man healthy physique. And also it would give healthy physique. This is the content. What is the core? What is the inner meaning? Taking meat is good in no way. Taking meat is good in no way. Explanation. As some of the people don't eat meat, many living beings have sustained their being. As some of the people don't eat meat, many living beings have sustained their being. Hell like disaster would swallow those who are taking meat. That is, hell like disaster would swallow those who are taking meat. If a man go into the mouth of the hellish disaster, if a man go into the mouth of the hellish disaster, he could never come out of it. If a man goes, if you, I mean, if a man goes, if a man goes into the mouth of the hellish disaster, he could never come out of it. That is, because of not eating meat, living beings have got sustenance. Because of not eating meat, living beings have got sustenance. Eating meat would push man into hellish disaster. Eating meat would push man into hellish disaster. Okay? Again, not to eat is the abode of life. That is, as there are millions and millions of people not eating meat, billions of living beings are living on the earth. If you eat meat, if you eat meat, hell would swallow you and won't let you. If a man eats meat, then hell would swallow him and it won't open its mouth to let him out. So, respected elders, education is duty to the dear students. These are five couplets, beautiful couplets. There is in the five couplets, that is refusing meat, not taking meat. One stresses the importance of, he stresses we should drop the habit of taking meat, but to what extent it could be accepted is the question. Because throughout the world, man lives on, throughout the world, man lives on other animals and plants. Man lives on particularly on, on plants and other animals. So, as far as myself is concerned, I could say here Palluvan means harming other animals, other living beings is not virtue. That thing I could assert that is harming. We should not harm other living beings. That is not virtue. But taking the meat off, that is most of the animals are are brought up, are grown for food. As we are growing plants, crops for food, we are also growing animals for food. So here it should be taken as that is animals should not be harmed for any reason. That's all. So among these the couplets 251, that is it is how can mercy live in a man? How can mercy live in a man's heart who eats the flesh of another living being? How can mercy live in a man's heart who eats the flesh of another living being? This is an important word. He feels like that. If a man is in the habit of eating the flesh of another animal for the growth of his own body, if a man eats the flesh of another animals for the growth of his own body, then how mercy could live? Then how mercy could live in his heart? That is, that is, if a man eats meat, then mercy would not live in him. This is what it means. Okay, whatever it is. Respected elders and educationists, teachers, and my dear students. Here, I would like to stress one thing, that is, eating or not eating meat depends upon your culture, but on no account should we harm any living being. Any living being, we should not harm. So, okay, I wish you sweet and nice time till you meet in the next class. Thank you.